Hello, this is Charles D'Alessandro of Fillmore Real Estate in Brooklyn, New York, aka Charles the Realtor. I'm here today with Michael Reinhardt, Esquire, a real estate attorney here in Brooklyn, New York, practicing for well over 20 years, almost 27 to 28 years. He's an old-timer in the business.
Thanks.
I promised you people that I was going to come back to you with information on some of the questions that I get every day, as well as emailed and throughout the internet. And here I am with Michael. Now, Michael, I have a question. I decided, because the interest rates are so low, I mean, lowest interest rates, prices are down, and there's plenty of inventory, so selection of houses. I decided I was going to buy a house. And one of the things that I learned from Charles D'Alessandro, my video, is about the FHA mortgages and mortgaging and all that stuff. I'm educated on that, and I've started with that. So when do I start by getting an attorney? Because I'm told that we need attorneys for this process. And does it have to be a real estate attorney?
Okay. First step, the best possible time to get an attorney is as early in the transaction as possible. As soon as you discover you're thinking about buying a house, contact your local real estate attorney and ask for a free consultation. What I tell people, if I get them early enough in the game to come talk with me and share their concerns, it is the most important investment of most of my clients' lives. And what I do, I try to encourage them to let me know what their needs are. But initially, they were a little cold, not understanding what their needs are. What I tell them, you're going to get documents put in front of you. You may not understand what you're getting put in front of you. I understand what someone's going to put in front of you before you even see it, because we've done enough of this. And I tell them, simply protect themselves by putting the wording, subject to attorney's approval. So if I don't like what you sign, I can modify it and make sure you're out of harm's way if you sign something that you didn't understand. And again, there will be a lot of documents that by law the brokers have to put in front of you. Why a real estate attorney as opposed to another type of attorney? All attorneys are very competent in their particular fields, but real estate attorneys, just by nature of the sheer volume of what we do, we're familiar with the laws as they change. When the laws change, we don't have to worry about someone telling us a month later that the law changed last month. We find out the next day. So we know what documents are going to be put in front of you. We know what challenges the real estate industry has, and we know how to make sure our clients do stay out of harm's way.
Okay, you mentioned, talking about the process and the paperwork and whatnot. I did the pre-approval. Is that something that would you be dealing with my mortgage guy as well, or helping me out with that?
It's a complete package and process. What I try and do is invite everybody who we've come across into our little circle. If you've met with someone who's done a pre-approval, I'm going to ask you at an initial meeting to bring to me any documents you have. If he's given you a list of what your closing expenses are, I want them. Why? Because I want to make sure that you can afford to purchase the house and you have the necessary closing costs above the mortgage amount to go through with the transaction. So one of the things we'll insist upon is a mortgage contingency clause in your contract, based upon what your loan officer may say. Now, if you don't have a loan officer yet, it doesn't say anything, I have some basic parameters from doing so many deals on what you're going to need, and we would work you through that. So yes, I would invite anybody. I'd invite your engineer, I'd invite your mortgage guy, anybody that has information that's going to help me better protect you. I'm going to invite them into our little loop, and I'm going to encourage as much dialogue as possible.
There's a lot of people involved in this process, and
Yeah.
And it does become a stressful situation.
Yeah, well, you said something very good though, stress. Stress is something that occurs when people are fearful. Why are they fearful? Because of the unknown. So couple being fearful of the unknown along with the largest investment in your life, it becomes a very stressful thing. It was once said that the purchase and sale of a home is second on the list of the 10 most stressful things that occur in a person's life. The number one was death of a spouse. So you can see how high up on the ladder this is. What we try and do is alleviate the stress by not being miracle workers, just by providing you with information that you need to know and making sure it's timely information. Worst thing is doing something and then saying, I wish I would have done it differently next time. The best way to handle it is do it right, get the information, arm yourself with the information, which is power, and will save you money. So you can say, you know what, the next time I go to buy a house, I'm going to do it exactly the same way. And that's what we try and do.
Throughout, it's funny you say that, throughout the blogs that I've written, and I've always said that knowledge is empowerment, and that's one of the things. And we don't all know all things, so you need the people around you to decipher and consultate through this. Now, I've gotten to that point. I've gotten the house. The seller has an attorney. I have you as an attorney. Now, just real quickly, how does the process go? Where do we go from here? Who makes the
Okay, you
contract?
contact me.
What happens?
We've had our initial consultation, hopefully, early enough in the game before you signed anything. But assuming you didn't, you found the house, you need an attorney now, you come into my office, you say, I'm interested in purchasing this particular home, I'll review anything you've signed. If I find your needs have been taken care of with the initial documents, I then will reach out to the attorney for the seller and ask him to prepare a draft of the contract, based upon what his client has told him their understanding of the transaction is. When we get the contract, I review it, I take care of my legal concerns, and then I invite you in to take care of some personal concerns that you may have, and make sure the legal concerns and your personal concerns jive together. If we're okay with that, such as mortgage contingency, I think you need about 45 days to get a mortgage. Bankers are very competent, they can get them in 30. I try and get you about 45. When are you going to close? Could take 60 to 90 days. Are you selling something else to use the money to buy to close this? These are things I need to know. But assuming everything is perfect, 45 days to get a mortgage, 60 to 90 days to close, and we take care of everything from soup to nuts in between. So that would be the process. If the attorney sends the contract, we like it, you come in. At that point, you give a deposit, usually a 10% down payment, good faith money. We've gone through the contract, we then send it to the other side for the seller to sign, and you're in contract, the clock runs, and the process just takes over.
And at this meeting, we're going to go, I guess you said it already, but you'd be going over how much I needed for the closing, how much it would cost me, and how much cash I would need, and where it was coming.
We'll get you.
I may be getting a loan from my mother, so
Well, we don't want to take anything for granted. We ask questions on where you're getting the money from. I actually have clients sign a plain English worksheet with me. The contract is not written for people who don't have a legal education to understand. So I come up with a 2-page sheet, and it does spell out. You understand you may need between this and this to close. Without selling anything, do you have it? And that stopped a few clients from going forward when they might otherwise have not. We also put in that they understand they're not selling anything else to buy this, or that the time frame to close may be here. Client doesn't want to close until the end of June when the kid's done with school. May closing date doesn't work for them. So that may not be a legal concern to anybody but me protecting my client. So we will guide you through the whole process. As any attorney knows, certain key elements have to be handled, and they got to be handled, on a personal level first, and then on a legal level. And that's what I mean by getting the information in advance. Having an attorney that doesn't pay attention to when you want to close, or you not knowing that the seller may have closing needs to buy something someplace else, can get you hurt if you say, well, I don't want to pull my kid out of a certain school district, and I don't want to get in there sooner than I have to. So those are kind of things. As far as the stress of it, as far as the worrying of it, though, once you find a competent real estate attorney, you'll see after the initial consultation, 90% of your stress and fear right out the window.
There's one other question that came up, just one question. I wasn't going to ask it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. The on or about. That's one big question that comes up in a lot of transactions on the closing date. Real quick and a short thing, on or about, what does that mean? Because I know a lot of people, what they do is they say August 30th, on or about August 30th, and they think they're closing that day. So
Okay.
just real quick, that's a concern, because it's only in New York. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just
Great question, because you're right, New York has got on or about, Jersey has on or before. You're buying something in Jersey, it says on or before August 30th, you're ready to close August 30th. You're buying something in New York, it says on or, Jersey, on or before, New York, on or about. So you're buying something in August 30th closing date in New York with an on or about date in front of it. It could go as late as September 30th, and everybody's still within their legal rights. So it's not to be taken as a strict date. Times of the essence is wording that if you ever see it in the contract, you'll never see it with me representing a client, because that means you must show up that particular date or lose your down payment. Now, quick question. If you're driving to the closing and you get into a car accident, God forbid, and you can't get to that closing and your times of the essence date was today, and you go to the hospital instead of the closing, could you lose your down payment?
I think you might be able to, right?
You will lose your down payment if you get the wrong attorney, yes. Times of the essence will mean times of the essence. They don't care if it's a snowstorm or a car accident. You agreed to close by that date. Little wording, doesn't seem harmless, it's devastating. So you'll never see me allow a client to agree to terms like that. That's why you want attorneys to look at this stuff. But again, the on or about date, don't take off for work that day. You can go as much as 30 days later if you needed to with an on or about date.
Okay. Well, as you see, there's loads of, there's so much information out there, as I know, because I'm practicing this for so long. Michael Reinhardt has written a book with all the information in the book that you can have for absolutely free. You can either call me, Charles D'Alessandro, you have my information, or I'll let Michael explain it himself,
Just very, very quickly, doing this so many years, in the mid-90s, we realized some of the questions that we've been getting for over a decade were the same exact questions. So we put the questions together in a booklet format, almost like a call-in, you have a question, we'll answer it for you. So we put together a book for buyers and a book for sellers, titled Buying a House Does Not Have to Be Stressful, and Selling a House Does Not Have to Be Stressful. They'll address more needs than you know you have. And I offer them to anybody out there. Simply for the asking, you can contact me at Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L, at brooklynattorney.com, spelled out, and we'll have the book emailed to you right away, or you can ask for a disc, we'll have that sent to you. Or you can contact my office at 718-377-7798. We'll be happy to provide a copy of any mode that you'd like to receive the copy. The one thing I ask for, this is a work in progress, I ask if you get the book and there's a question there we have not covered, please let me know. I'd be concerned to know what your question is, and I'll make sure I answer it, and we'll include it in the book for the next group of people. So it is a progress that we're all working together as a home buying community, home selling community that wants to try and eliminate the stress from the process.
And again, everybody, thank you very much. This is Charles D'Alessandro of Fillmore Real Estate here in Brooklyn, New York. CharlesTheRealtor.com. If you have any questions about this or you want to hear other subjects, please comment on it, and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much, and everybody have a great day.